It's become a tradition here at Mark Rogers TV during the offseason for us to rate the top players in college football, the top 10 nationally, the top 5 in what we still consider to be the best conference in college football, the SEC, although they need a schedule like the best conference in college football. We'll get to that in later posts. Let's look at the tight end position. Top 5 in the SEC. We really have a top 2. Then we've got a pretty good gap. Then we've got 6 players vying for the final 3 spots. So we'll mention Sean Culkin, Ethan Wolf, and Stephen Scheu, who statistically is the most prolific tight end coming back from 2014 in the SEC. Stephen Scheu of Vandy, 39 catches, 525 yards, and 4 touchdowns, does not make the top 5. Here's the top 5. It starts with Jarrell Adams out of South Carolina. 21 receptions, 279 yards, and a touchdown. He has 4 career touchdown receptions, 1 in the Capital One Bowl that was key against Wisconsin 2 years ago. He started 5 games in replacing Rory Anderson last year. He is the undisputed starter at South Carolina this season. He's, in fact, the only tight end with any experience on the depth chart. We expect a huge season from Jarrell Adams. Again, huge, relatively speaking, among tight end statistics. This is the conference that relies on the tight end to actually block in the running game more so than the other power conferences, especially at places like LSU, Alabama, and Arkansas. Jarrell Adams at South Carolina at number 5. His mama named him Jarrell, and Jarrell means strong. At number 4, we go to Georgia and Jeb Blazevich, who was just a freshman in 2014 and really contributed. He started the last 10 games after he sat the first 3, 18 receptions, 269 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Expect that reception statistic to almost double in 2015. This kid's a 4-star tight end out of Charlotte. And Mark Richt said he makes a mistake and he never makes it again. He's just one of those kind of smart players, instinctive, knows the game, learns quickly, and again, doesn't make a second mistake in the same area. Chris Conley, who we saw freak out at the NFL Combine, says this about Blazevich: Jeb's going to be great, end quote. Jeb Blazevich, Georgia, 18 catches in 2014. We've got him as the number 4 tight end in the SEC coming into 2015. At number 3, we've got O.J. Howard, who was supposed to have a breakout year for the Crimson Tide. Didn't catch a pass in the first 4 games. Pretty much nobody made a catch for the Crimson Tide in the first 4 or 5 games other than Amari Cooper at that point. But this was a bit alarming. He made an adjustment. He started to attack the route coming off the line of scrimmage. He also said he started to attack the football. Probably his most costly error in this category last season was that last play against Senquez Golson in Oxford at Ole Miss in Alabama's lone regular season loss, where he backed off the football, wasn't as aggressive as he needed to be in high-pointing the football. Golson stole it away, and Alabama lost at Ole Miss. O.J. Howard learned from that, caught fire to a certain extent, was productive down the stretch. Let's say that. 17 catches, 260 after 14 catches and 2 touchdowns as a freshman. So O.J. Howard at 6'6", 240 coming into his junior season at Alabama, number 3 tight end in the SEC. All right, these 2 top guys, they have separated themselves from the pack. Evan Engram of Ole Miss coming into his junior season off a 38-catch, 662-yard, 2-touchdown season for Bo Wallace. Okay, what makes this special is that computes to almost 18 yards per catch for Evan Engram. Those are wideout statistics. Those are even high-end wide receiver statistics. 18 yards per reception, actually 17.5. He gets downfield. That's unheard of for a tight end. His 2 best games, big games for Ole Miss. If you look at pass receiving statistics for the second and third tier guys especially, they got a lot of those statistics, racked up those against the non-conference cupcakes. And then the games came against the SEC, and they disappeared. Evan Engram against Auburn, 8 catches for 118 yards. There were only 4 or 5 100-yard reception games in the SEC by a tight end in 2014. He had 2 huge ones. That one, and then in the Egg Bowl, The upset of Mississippi State, 5 catches, 176 yards. That's the 4th most prolific receiving day by an Ole Miss player in the history of Ole Miss football. Missed the final 5 games as a freshman, but still got his career off to a great start. 21 receptions, 268 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And again, got downfield more with 38 catches at 18 yards per reception in 2015. Going to be a junior coming up this fall. All right, the number 1 tight end in the SEC and possibly all of college football is Hunter Henry of Arkansas. 2nd team All-SEC, junior coming into 2015. Broke onto the scene as a freshman in 2013. And considering the troubles at quarterback and along the offensive front in protecting the passer, Hunter Henry hit the scene in Fayetteville, caught 28 for 4 touchdowns as a freshman. Up to that to 37 catches last year, 513 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he only had 4 receptions in his first 4 games. So add it up. He went to almost 4 receptions per game after that, after being completely non-existent at the beginning of the season for Arkansas. But one of the main reasons why the Hogs caught fire down the stretch, knocked off Ole Miss and LSU, won the bowl game in a big way over Texas. This kid is a matchup nightmare. He's a blocker. He works in the running game. Other way, regardless of his ability in the passing game, he would get far less playing time if he couldn't block in Brett Bielema's offense. As an inline pass receiver, he comes off the line, and he's a matchup nightmare. And then he's the type that can split out wide as well and match up against some safeties or some 3rd and 4th corners and really box him out and catch the football and kind of knock them out of play with his size and his frame. Top tight ends in the SEC coming into 2015 right here on Mark Rogers TV. We've got Hunter Henry, Arkansas, number 1. Evan Engram, Ole Miss, number 2. Then we've got a drop-off to O.J. Howard of Alabama at number 3. Our 4th best tight end going into 2015 is Jeb Blazevich of Georgia. And number 5 is the strongman Jarrell Adams out of South Carolina. Need to hear from you. Let's talk up the top 5 tight ends right here on Mark Rogers TV.